Welcome to another chapter of In the Keep podcast. I'm your very own prophet of the drowned god, the Motherload. This show is all about the world of arena first-person shooters, classic FPS games, their legacies, their lineage, and the people who keep that world turning. These are the players, the developers, the streamers, the influencers. It is the will of the drowned god Cthalha that our communities band together in her cathedral to frag and give one another into oblivion for all eternity. Alrighty, folks, welcome back. It is, this is gonna be our very last episode with State of Quake. It's a, hard transition to go through, but I'm happy that it's happening finally. I can't thank them enough for what they've done, and it's time to get rolling. So I had to do a lot of soul searching and think about who I wanted to be the transition episode, the last one for the first chapter of In the Keep, and simultaneously the first chapter of the new In the Keep, something that was gonna send us off with a bang. And I racked my brain, and I picked the person that I think is a representative, a true founding father of the Keep, a true echo, a true siren of what we're all about. And I picked my good buddy, someone who's been there since day one, someone who's mentored me, someone who's helped me, someone who's been around since I really fell deep into the Quake community, and that's my buddy Kill Pigeons. I got to preface this conversation with a few things. First of all, Pigeons is a arena shooter player just like the rest of us. He has been he's been alive a lot longer than I have, and he has a lot of really great knowledge about all of that, and we talk in depth. But we also talk about some of his other interests, one of which is he produces virtual reality plays in a game called Rec Room. And I think that is so freaking interesting. Like, I can't wait to hear people's feedback and see who checks it out. All that stuff. It's gonna be really interesting. I just don't want to say, like, give him a chance to lure you into that conversation, because it is a wild ride, or it was for me anyway. One other preface before we get started. He and I talk a little bit about the format in QC Dual Pool, and I want to say that was recorded before they announced the new classic duel mode. So with that said, let's get in the keep with I Kill Pigeons. How the hell are you, man?
I have never been better.
Oh, that's a fucking bullshit lie, and you know it.
All right, maybe once. I was better once.
What happened when it was better that one time?
It was the night that I beat the Motherload in a Quake Champions duel.
Oh, that happens all the time. Star Centurion must feel like gold every day. Just walk around feeling amazing.
I beat him too, actually.
Yeah, that one time.
I beat him twice. Now, what I'm not gonna say, except I am, is that it was his first week playing Quake Champions. I was still teaching him the game, and I created a monster, as you know.
As I know, that's it. That's all. That's the whole story.
What? All right. So, what do you want? Backstory and like how I met Star and how I knew he'd be great at FPS games?
Yeah,
What?
you're on the air in the keep.
All right.
I forgot to tell you that.
Well, no, I got that. Star Centurion, I met him in VR in a game called Rec Room. He was a beta tester for the PlayStation VR version of Rec Room. And he came in, and I met him playing laser tag, which is, well, what you think, laser tag in VR. And he kicked everyone's ass on a PlayStation VR, which doesn't happen. Like the tracking just sucks compared to PC VR. And then someone talked him into getting a Oculus Rift and a computer to run it. And well, that was the end of that. He kicked everyone's ass even more, and then I was like, "Hey, Star, you're really good at this, first-person shooter thing. You should try this Quake game out." And so he did, and I beat him a few times early on because he didn't know the maps, he didn't understand the weapons, that kind of thing. And as soon as he got all that down, his aim is just freakish.
It is. It's like the only asset that I think he really has too, and it just pisses me off
Yeah,
because it's unbeatable. Except for that one
yeah.
time
Like,
when I did beat him.
did you?
Yeah,
Congratulations.
yeah, just once. Like it was,
Like,
I was ready. If I didn't beat him that night, I was gonna quit playing Quake forever. Like that's really how I felt. Like he had not
yeah, you say
played
that.
in months, and I had just been grinding Quake champions for no real justifiable reason, other than I'm an obsessive freak. And then,
Well, because you were having fun with it, right?
yeah, I
Hopefully.
mean,
Yeah.
yeah. At this point, Quake champions, I could live or die. Like I don't. I do love that game. Don't get me
Right.
wrong, but like I have so many other. Like I have
We're
my hands in
arena
so many
FPS
baskets.
fans,
Yeah,
right?
like
Not
I
necessarily. Yeah.
I have Dusk now. I can live with that, and I don't really
Yeah.
care. I think I cared for a while about being really great. I don't anymore. I think I found my niche in the community, which is doing kind of this stuff and that thing that we started together. What was that? What did we do?
I believe we started Cthalha's Keep,
Yeah,
didn't
dude,
we?
you're the OG member. It is you, me. I mean, there was like because it was like just it built on top of what my just private Discord at the time.
Yep.
But it was like you, me, and Spaced, and
Yep.
and then grew from there exponentially after that because like you brought in all was it Natty Land, and then
Yeah. So when we first met, playing duels,
oh
and
tell our story. Oh,
oh, okay. Be still, my beating heart. All right. We were doing. I got wild hair, and I'm like, hey, I'm gonna do some ranked duels. Okay. Ran into some guy named the Motherload.
oh
You know.
the moon. You have to set like the moon was bright that night, and it
Oh,
was
right. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. No, it was a dark and stormy night. There was rumors a hurricane was setting in. I knew, like even the shadows looked like they were somehow darker than normal. And then suddenly, across from the alley, uh, lit in a lightning flash, stood across from me, Motherload. And the only thing I said was the normal, Chi. And then suddenly, the storm went away. The sun, a beam of sunlight shone down upon my opponent standing across from the alley, and he stared back at me, and he gave a thumbs up, and he said, "GG." Or GLHF. That's right. I had the wrong.
it's
And we had an epic duel, and at the end, bloodied and bruised, both of us shook hands and said GG, and a friendship was born.
I get
How's that?
I get your theater deal. It seems to work for you, but you got to get your lines right, sir.
I know. I had the wrong.
Yeah.
We don't GG at the start.
No, but like yeah, that's a huge theme on the show. Really, is just the aspect of just being cool to people, and then that's how
Yeah,
you meet folks in the game. Like people are so
yeah,
fucking douchey sometimes, and just like the few awesome interactions you have with people can become what I think are lasting friendships that
agreed.
I'll hold till the end of time, or at least until the internet dies. Uh,
Hopefully that's after the end of time
yeah,
because my internet has gone down a few times, and I I was alive before the internet, but I don't know how. Let me just say, but we
yeah.
all know that.
No,
We all know.
tell us, open up a little bit about that. Why do you feel that
Well,
way? Really?
are you kidding me? Once your internet goes down, you start thinking about everything that you need to look up or find or research or whatever. Like suddenly your brain isn't like, hey, I should be on Reddit, browsing through shitty Ask Reddit questions or something. No, it's everything important that you need to find out. And then once the internet comes back up, that all goes out the window.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't.
okay, I'm just gonna watch this stupid show on Netflix.
I don't know what we're gonna do. Like, or just our society in general. If the internet, the whole grid just stopped, like economies would crumble at this point.
Yeah, people would have to learn how to create lands again for multiplayer gaming.
Yeah, we do. Wow. Like, they'd probably go back to like telephone line gaming.
Yep.
Before we just get. Oh well, I guess we're not playing anymore. But even
right.
even if that grid, like the telephone grid, went down, like we're just gonna go back to like bashing rocks on our heads, chucking them at small animals, trying to kill pigeons with pebbles and slingshots.
Whoa! Hold on, buddy.
Yeah,
that's a really dark apocalypse you're talking there.
It could happen, man. Anything could happen. But yeah, anyway, back on the actual tangent that I was going on before that small intro tangent. Is that a word?
Back on the rails.
Yeah. No, I think that it's crazy how people fucking talk to each other, and then just like you and Spaced, I met in pretty much the exact same way. It was just like, I don't know why. We're just like we played pretty equally in the games, and then we were just like, do you want to like talk on Discord and practice together, because like that's cool, and then friendships blossom, and I wish more people were like you guys, which is a tall order because there's no one like you guys in the world really, but like there's got to be more of us.
If there was more people like me, then that apocalypse you were talking about might actually come about.
No, you're
but
like,
I get what you're saying.
No, you're the salt of the fucking earth, man. Like don't understate yourself.
Now I'm salty suddenly.
Yeah. Oh my god. No, don't understate yourself, because we couldn't do this would not be a thing without like the kindness of people like you. And that's it. I don't even want to. I wouldn't want to like downplay your contribution anyway, but I'd say your number one contribution is just that you've been so nice and so supportive that it doesn't make any sense. And at my level worst, like the worst decisions that I've made, you're still like, hey man, I'm really nice. Like it's all if all you said all day was like in like Matthew McConaughey's voice is just like, I'm really nice. Like everybody would still love you. I think the same.
Oh man! All right. Well, there goes my reputation. No, I'm just kidding. No, I appreciate that. I do. I legitimately feel bad that I've not been very active in the keep.
Oh, we'll get to that.
I have reasons.
We'll get to that. You're gonna answer for it.
Of course, I'm gonna answer to the Drowned God. But no, I agree. It's unfortunately rare these days in Quake where people just, kind of chat and get to know each other. And I think a lot of that is the lack of persistent servers. You play a duel against someone and they're gone. You don't see them again.
Yeah.
So if you say GLHF or you see someone else saying it, okay, yeah, GL or HF, and then why say GG if you lose? Like, yeah, fuck that guy. I'm not gonna see him again. Like that's kind of mentality, whatever. And then it's someone else. Whereas in past Quake games, you're playing the same guy potentially over and over and over, or maybe you're in a duel server where winner stays in and you're rotating. You get another crack at him, maybe 3 or 4 duels later, and you get to watch him play the whole time. So maybe you learn a little bit about his tendencies, and like,
yeah, even spectating, like people don't like to spectate anymore, really.
Yeah.
People just get upset by it, the prospect of even having to spectate. There's like I need to utilize every amount of my time to be playing. Like, but that to me, that's how you learn. Like, is by watching people who are better than you, like from their perspective. Like, what is he doing that I'm not doing?
Agreed.
Yeah, man, that's a really good point. In Quake, that's just lacking generally in Quake champions. What? I don't know. It's so weird because like duels used to last 10 minutes, and now they could last anywhere between like 3 if you really get crushed, or like 30 plus minutes if you go into overtime every round. Like, what do you think of the format? Like, just the duel format, like personally.
It you know it took me a while because I mean I played Quake since Quake 1.
Mhm.
And of course, yeah, I played first-person shooters since Wolfenstein, but my multiplayer started with Quake 1. I really got into it with Quake 2. That's when I got into duels. Was heavy into it with Quake 3, Quake Live, that kind of thing. Dabbled in the original Unreal Tournament, but I preferred Quake 3 over it. I felt like the original Unreal Tournament was a bit too gimmicky with its weapon balance. But that's not the question. So I don't mind the new format. I get where they're going with it because it's boring to crush someone like 20-2 and there's still, 4 minutes left.
Mhm.
It's boring to be on the other end of that. It's not fun. So if you're going to get crushed, the idea is get crushed quickly or crush them quickly and you're done. Okay, great. Um, I really don't mind it. But no, the nostalgia in me, misses the old style as well. Like just straight up 10 minutes,
Yeah,
duke
I
it
mean,
out.
there's conflicting, points of view, and I understand that. Like Plague TV had a good. So he never played Quake before Quake Champions, to my understanding, but his point of view is like, I think that the current dual format is more palatable to a viewer, and to a caster maybe, just in the fact that you can, it goes in rounds, it restarts, like you can kind
Yep,
of get your footing again, and each round you get to try again, and that happens 3 to 5 times, and then you're done. Um,
I would agree with that. And like what I just said about it being uh, boring, a blowout is boring, whether you're playing in it
right.
or you're spectating it. Like it's the same kind of deal.
Sometimes it's cool to watch like fatality. Just you know, I don't, we're not going to use the R word like some people might use, but
Right.
just molest. I think that's an okay
Right.
word. Bother. The
So I'm not gonna use the R word, but I'm gonna use another word that the exact same
it's
thing.
not the same thing because molest just
Ex-
means to bother. At the base,
oh, okay,
that's
okay,
all it
okay.
means. Yeah.
No, no, I get what
You
you're
can
saying.
you
Yeah.
can leave a situation unmolested. Like that's a proper way of using that word. It's just been Michael Jackson destroyed that word. That's what happened.
Okay. Okay.
But we're taking it back. No,
Right.
I have a point. I think about the dual format that I think makes sense. Back in our day, the dual format, the way it used to work, it was like a street fight. Actually, like it was legitimately just like I'm gonna beat you down until you either get back up on your feet or I give you too much space and you have some way of coming back.
Accurate. Yep.
Yeah, and then the way Quake Champions Duel works is like boxing or the UFC because it has rounds and
Yep.
that. So in a real fight, right? If I'm beating the dog shit out of you, because like if we fought, that's probably how it would go. Just being real. Um, I'm kidding. You're much bigger than me, but
Uh-huh.
yeah, if I just beating the
I
tar
can
out of
punch
somebody,
through the internet. Just be aware of that
yeah, on the street, right?
before you
Just
say
like
this.
just jump on a dude on the sidewalk and just pound his face in, right? And it's just the two of you, like no one else is allowed in there, or it's a cage fight or whatever. But there's no rounds,
Sure.
there's no
Yeah.
referee, anything like that. Uh, at some point, if you get knocked out, like or at the beginning of the match, I just run up and deck you before you get a chance to do anything, or take it to the ground and
I
have you
mean,
in a
okay.
submission
Yeah.
hold. If the
Okay.
referee doesn't break it up, you lost that fight. That's how fights in
Yep.
schools work. Like it's
Yep.
whoever looked like they were gonna win before the teacher showed up. That's who won. But now it's
Yep.
like the teacher shows up every 5 minutes and is like, "Oh, okay, back up, back up. All right, you guys, you standing up." So like,
Round two.
did you see
Fight.
the Deontay Wilder versus Tyson Fury fight?
I did not.
So Deontay Wilder, right, just
Um,
knocks like just hits in the final round, hits Tyson Kidd. Right, Tyson Kidd's a
was this
wrestler.
the fight a couple of weeks ago?
Nah, I mean maybe I'm not sure. This is a while back.
Uh, uh,
What I'm talking
oh,
about.
okay. Okay. Sorry. I work late on weekends, so
It's
I
okay.
miss all those fights.
So
Guys are
Tyson,
always talking about it. Did you see the fight last night? Like, no, dick.
Tyson Fury lights out, right? Just straight hits his back. In a real life fight, we'd call that okay, he's done. But the referee,
Sure.
counts weird. It was like very controversial whether or not the referee was counting correctly. Anyway,
Okay.
Tyson Fury does like
Well,
a
was he like 1, 2, 3, or 1, 2, 4?
yeah, like one of those kind
You
of
know,
situations.
3, sir, 3.
It was just like you could argue. A lot of people have argued that the referee was not counting that the way he should have. Anyway, point being,
Okay.
Tyson Fury sits up like the Undertaker very suddenly, gets back up and he's like, okay, you're standing up, you're good, all right, and then comes back and like wins the round. And and
In a street fight, yeah,
that doesn't. He would have been
you knock down, you're out. Yeah.
as soon as he hit the ground, a real guy would have just stomped his head in or something. Or
So the analogy you're going for
Yeah.
is the street fight is a like Quake Champions style of duel with a round, or no, sorry,
Yeah.
is
old school, like the 10
old
minute
school. Yeah.
10 minutes. It's just a beatdown. Yeah.
And the like sanctioned like UFC fight would be how Quake Champions is, where they're
Yeah.
like, okay, all right, you won that round, everyone has to reset.
Yeah, I hate it. I wish the UFC just got rid of rounds altogether. And gloves, the whole deal. If you're gonna fight on TV and you're gonna call it a fight, it should be a fight because, like,
Yeah.
there's so many times when like it happens pretty much every single time. Every time the referee breaks it up, I'm like, well, now we really don't know who won. I don't get it. It's
That's
a
fair.
sport. It's a sport. It's not a fight. I mean, and fighting can be a sport, but the more you sanction it and the more rules you put on it and the more you act like, because if you can punch someone in the head, but you have to wear gloves, but you can kick them in the head and you don't have to wear anything on your feet, like
Yeah. Didn't really make a lot of sense, did it?
no. Anyway, I'm not saying I prefer one or the other necessarily. Just it is different.
Yeah, I agree. I appreciate both, let me just say.
Yeah.
And yes, I'm doing this intentionally.
What is that? What kind of beer are you drinking?
This is Odell IPA.
Oh,
It is
I've had that one. It's good.
a local Colorado brewery. It's very good.
Man, it's the best beer in Colorado. A running theme is at the end of the show for the last couple of episodes. I've been saying like, hey, I'm not looking for sponsors, but like, if anybody wants to send me free beer, I'll review it on the show.
Well, they're about an hour north of me. Maybe.
Yeah, I need to at some point acknowledge the fact that like, hey, listeners, this episode's like special. I haven't prepared it all. I'm just talking to my buddy here. Like, there's no like, I usually have like a
Yeah.
little thing over here it's like, yeah, this is
Oh,
like I have
gotcha.
a list of questions
And
for
I
people.
realized I was just pouring a beer on your screen, and the listeners have no idea what I was doing.
No, that's fine. I asked what kind of beer you were pouring. So
Fair enough.
if they can't figure that out, I can't help them.
Yeah, that's true. They need another beer if they can't figure that out.
No, you started playing Quake, Quake 1, like, I was a baby. I was actually a year old when you first started playing Quake,
When were you born? What year?
95.
Yeah, you were a year old.
Yeah.
Yep.
What was your experience like? How old were you when you like the first time you saw the game?
First time I saw Quake. Oh boy. I played the shareware version for a while, actually. And it was just the first episode. And I actually played Quake 1 single player for the longest time. And then Quake 2 came out in, I believe, 97. And that's when I got into the actual multiplayer aspect of it.
Okay.
And
Wait.
right after
I gotta cut you off because I can. Had you already played Doom and Wolf at this point?
oh yeah, years before.
Okay. Keep
I
going.
played Wolfenstein like back in shit, I don't know, 92, 93.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, right around that time.
And then and then Doom, yeah, of course. Just not multiplayer with them. Didn't play Doom multiplayer until, many years later.
Yeah.
But played Quake 2, got into the multiplayer. Will never forget the first time I won a free for all match. I felt like such a badass. And looking back on it years later, I'm like, wow, I was such a noob, but it felt great in the moment. And right around the time I got into Quake 2 multiplayer, I also got into Quake 1 because the Quake 1 multiplayer scene was still very strong in the late 90s, early 2000s.
Mhm.
So I did both of those for a while. Preferred Quake 1 for team play and Quake 2 for duels.
Why?
Um,
I just don't understand Quake 2. I don't ever want to disparage it or say anything bad because it's clearly just that I don't understand, but I don't get it. It's it's so weird to me.
yeah, it's difficult to explain. It might be as simple as it was the first FPS that I got into duels with.
Okay.
And the railgun was a game changer. The Quake 1, love the game. I don't want to say anything bad about it, but the weapon balance wasn't great, as we all know. You know, you get the rocket launcher, you get the lightning gun, you're good. You know, you might span some um,
Nades.
pineapples around,
Yeah.
or you know, they use an SMG here and there. But really, but Quake 2, uh, the railgun was so new at the time. We all take it for granted, but oh man, that railgun was like holy shit. This gun, and I sucked with it because I was an HBB, a high ping bitch at the
Ooh.
time. Yeah, oh yeah, I
But
played on
you're
dial-up.
yeah, it's center of the country at the time. Yeah.
Yeah, I halfway through my Quake 2 playing, I finally got cable internet, and whoa, that changed my life. But as it did with all of us, and no one cares about that.
Oh, they do.
Uh, well, it was great to not have to lead my rails by literally a second.
I still
Let me
feel
just
like that in Quake 2. That's the problem with Quake 2 to me. Is like I still feel like everything is like slow.
it. The game overall was very slow. The
Yeah.
rocket launcher still infuriates me how slow the projectiles are. I don't know. You know, I wish I could give you some like super great insight on it, but fact is, I wasn't a pro player or anywhere close to it. I
Well,
just had fun playing it.
no, it's fine. You have a perspective that it's perfectly valuable. Don't stop underselling yourself on my fucking show, man, or I'm gonna come over
Ha!
there and tug you by your big, long, luscious locks onto the ground
It's
and give you that sidewalk beat down that we just discussed.
do you promise?
No.
Aww.
I'll get in
All
trouble.
right. I can beat up your boyfriend.
No,
Don't worry.
I think I think for me at this point, in Quake 2, if I were to at this point in my arena shooter career go and try to like become good at Quake 2, it would require a complete reset in my brain of how timing works for everything. And I even feel it playing like from Quake 1 or Dusk and then coming back and playing Quake Champions. Like Quake Champions feels like driving a big tugboat compared to the movement
In dusk.
in Dusk or in Quake 1. It's just
Yep.
not even remotely comparable or even Quake Live and Quake 3. Like while they are I'd say a middle ground, like slower, and that is where I actually got my start is in Quake 3, but it doesn't uh like just rivets versus Quake Champions rockets. Like there I every time I play Dusk and then I'm like somebody's like, "Hey, play Quake Champions with me." I'm like, "Okay, sure." Immediately my projectile timing is just jacked up. Like I couldn't hit a rocket if my life depended on it for whatever
That makes
reason.
sense.
Yeah.
I mean, um, when Quake 3 came out, uh, like I was all in on that because it was the best. It really was the best of both worlds.
Mm.
I still personally feel like Quake 3 Arena is. Uh, Now, granted, I haven't gotten into some of the newer FPS AFPS games, like you know Dusk and Open Arena and stuff. Uh,
Oh, Open Arena is not new. Open Arena is almost exactly a clone of Quake 3 with just like different
is it?
settings and yeah,
Okay. All right. Well, I apologize to all the OA fans
it's
for
okay.
my ignorance.
They will
Uh,
probably laugh at that. They'll all
all right.
just think
Fair
that
enough.
was
Yeah.
hilarious.
All right. Well, Quake 3 Arena was, if not the pinnacle of AFPS games, it definitely uh, paved the way or paved the road
Mhm.
to like showed. what a great AFPF arena FPS game was. It was great in team deathmatch, 2v2, 4v4. It was great in duels. The maps were great. The weapon balance was great. I do like the Quake Live adjustment to the railgun to put it to 90 so that a fresh spawn can't get killed with one rail. Because one of the things in Quake 3 Arena was you spawn, you go for a shard immediately. Get at least one shard so you won't get killed with one rail.
I think Quake 3 was. I shouldn't say I know that it was like the first one that was designed explicitly for the purpose of being online multiplayer.
Yep.
But
and it showed.
I think you could argue. I think actually Jahar probably said this at some point, but like Quake 2, the actual like the single player game was more like a technology, just a way of showing the technology, like a showcase of the engine, and not really the game. But
yeah,
because
considering how many games use that engine, they did well with that tech demo.
Yeah. Go back down on you were saying something about Quake 3. Essentially, you left off saying like you go get a shard and then so you don't get killed by one rail, and then I interrupted you like a bitch. So go ahead.
Well, now I lost my train of thought.
Damn.
No, you just go get a shard so don't get railed in one shot, and that's. I mean, in a duel, it's different, obviously, because if you get railed and you have 5 hit points, then you're probably fucked anyways. Let's be honest. But I loved the 4v4 aspect of it. I loved the ebb and flow of the game. Like there was times where both teams would be controlling different aspects of the map, and it would actually slow down. And like each team knew where the other was, but okay, they have the rocket launcher, we have the red armor. We're good with the status quo right now. Because if one team rushes the other, they're just gonna give away frags. I didn't play at a highly competitive level, but I played with competition that was competitive with me, and it was a lot of fun. I loved it.
So
and
go ahead.
One of the things about Quake Champions is I like the duels. I miss the 4v4 because a team deathmatch is just I don't know,
the quads and protection and all that.
Yeah. Like we would throw like teams, my team included, and I'd be a part of this. We'd throw ourselves at quads and protections just to get the quad. I had a teammate that would time it so perfectly. He would rush in there with like his insane strafe jumping movement, grab the quad in between in front of the enemy team and then die immediately. But that was the plan. We would deny them the quad and it wouldn't drop because once you had the quad and you got killed, it doesn't drop again. Not like Quake Champions. In Quake 3, it was gone. One person has it only. And we would give up one frag to deny them the quad if they had control of the map. And that could change everything. Because suddenly they couldn't just run through the map and destroy us with the quad.
I think I just realized at this point, like I could just ask you all the questions that I usually feel embarrassed to ask, like pro players. So I'm gonna do that starting now.
I'm not a pro player.
No, you're not a pro player, but here's like the history, typical. I'll give you an example. This is my first one, and the one that just brought this to mind.
Hey, ask away. I'm an open book for
it. Because you do, like, who gives a shit if you're a pro player? Like, you have the longevity of, like, you got to see it from this in order. I did not. So, at what point in Quake 3 did you realize strafe jumping?
Strafe jumping was from the start. Strafe jumping appeared in Quake 2, actually.
Okay. For some reason, I thought it was a glitch in the Quake 3 code, but I guess I just got it mixed up.
It was a glitch in the Quake 2 code.
Okay.
And I don't remember when I realized it. It's one of those things that, like, I don't know. I just remember it always being a thing. It definitely was not in Quake 1. Quake 2, it just always was there. And it was so popular that they have put it into every Quake game since.
Hmm.
Yep.
But there had to be the first guy. Someone had to be the first person to like realize that they could do that. I don't know who.
Yeah.
Probably
Yeah.
Thresh or someone like that.
Yeah, I was gonna say Thresh or like B2 or Machiavelli or some, one of them people.
Yeah. You didn't play Quake 4 at all, right?
I skipped Quake 4 multiplayer, and I played it single player. Just it didn't beat it. I lost interest very quickly because I was into AFPS heavily by then.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know. I don't know what it was. I just wasn't into the Quake 4 multiplayer.
I don't know. So few
Can't
people
explain
were. You don't have to explain it really. It's just like everybody seems to have the same consensus, except for the few people who actually did.
I'm sure it was a fun game, but
I mean, Violentheart had a great time at it, but he's
yeah.
a rare. Whoa, what do you mean? Like that was such a weird thing. He's like, you were
Right.
what kind of pro were you? You're a pro in
You're a
Quake.
Quake 4
Quake
pro?
4. There was a Quake 4 pro scene.
There was a pro scene in Quake 4?
Yeah, Fatality played in it, and he did.
Wow.
Yeah, like I don't know. I had to go back and like find it all, but yeah, it's all there. I don't know why. And it was a dark time for, QuakeCon wasn't as big
a dark
anyway.
time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and Quake Live ended up. That's so funny. Like what took over that was just like a report of essentially, a redoing of the previous game is what kind of brought the game back to life.
Yep. They did well with Quake Live.
All right,
It did well.
let's just get into like the real reason you're here, man. Because you're a theater girl.
Theater girl.
We all know theater girls. Everybody knew a theater girl in high school or college, right? What happened? How did you get into that?
Into theater?
Yeah, no. Okay, so I'll preface this. Okay, so for those of you who don't know, my friend, I don't want to say your real name. I'll just call you Pigeons. Makes
Hold on. I'm not Pigeons. I kill pigeons.
you have too many different nicknames. It's Pigeons. I kill pigeons. It's
you
too long to
call
say.
me Pigeons,
but
you can't
IKP.
just drop I don't. This pigeons.
Oh, okay. I shouldn't say my friend Pigeons, like because that sounds like I'm friends with
right.
Pigeon.
You
Okay.
can call me Pigeons after you preface it.
I kill pigeons.
Right. Pigeons for short is fine.
IKP, Pigeons for short.
Yep.
So he mentioned earlier to everyone who's listening, if you're still listening, that he
everyone's listening.
Plays this game called Rec Room, right? And it has like a little, little shooter aspects inside of the game, but overall it's just a big fucking crazy VR sandbox. Would that be an accurate way of describing it? How would you describe that game? Actually, I'll let you speak on its behalf.
Oh boy. Well, I guess the TLDR of it would be it's the Wii Sports of VR.
Okay.
That's selling it a little bit short, but that's the TLDR.
Yeah, it does. Like the avatars are very reminiscent of the Wii era.
Yeah, and they got different activities and they get like different games and stuff, paintball, laser tag. There's some cooperative, dungeon crawler type things.
Yeah.
And they have a healthy custom room system where
it's a Rec Room simulator. Rec Room simulates what it would be like to have a really badass Rec Room. I don't know. It's such a weird.
Yeah, it's
niche.
weird to describe. Yeah. It's. I don't know. It's a very social game where you can pretty much do whatever you want. Like, I'm a dungeon master in Rec Room, and I have a Dungeons and Dragons group that I play with every week in Rec Room, and we have a gaming table that's huge, and I can draw on it and draw maps and stuff. And they have their little characters they can move around, all in VR, and like it's like a dream, nerd tabletop RPG setup. But all we need is a VR headset for it. There's Wii Sports of VR. We'll just stick with that.
Okay. So, and then he dropped off the face of the planet. You were a consistent founding member of the Keep, and then all of a sudden one day we're like, where the fuck is Pigeons at? and I had to search you down and realize what you'd been doing, which was amazing, man. I'll let you tell everybody what you did. I want everybody to hear it from your mouth.
Well, and there's actually an article on CNET about us if people want to know more information.
I'll link it to the episode if you
Okay.
want. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I can get you a link. We did what we believe is the first full-length live play in virtual reality with actors and actresses from all over the world.
When you just said that, the way that you've presented that, it sounded like the beginning of a sci-fi movie. Like,
I have a career in voiceovers, apparently.
yeah, it'd be so. It's like a weird prompt for
In
me.
a
Like,
world.
yeah, we did the first full-length, feature-length play in virtual reality. Like,
We did.
but yeah, and you did the Princess Bride, man. I watched it.
We did. Yeah, we did The Princess Bride. We adapted a lot of the dialogue and jokes to
Mm.
a Rec Room themed. So anyone that's not familiar with the game, might be a little lost on some of it, but the overall story is the same. It was a lot of fun. From So how I got involved with it, I think was your initial question. Um, I was drunk off my ass,
Okay,
and
I
I was
like
in the rec
stories.
room.
I like
Yeah,
stories that
yeah, I
start
see
like
that
that.
grin on your face. Yeah, I was drunk off my ass. It was about 2 a.m. in the morning for me, and I'm just fucking around in rec room doing whatever. And suddenly one of my friends show up, and I had seen posters around about, hey, Princess Bride auditions, blah blah blah. And I'm like, I can't act. All right, well, that'll be fun to watch, when they get it going. So one of my friends shows up, and someone named Emily Waffles Yay. She likes waffles. I'll call her Emily from now on. So Emily shows up. She's like, "Hey, pigeons, come here. I want to show you something." And when you're trash, okay, whatever. I'm not gonna ask what. Go in there, and I found myself in a room. There was a stage, there was a chair, and there was 3 people sitting in front of the chair. And she's like, "Hey, why don't you have a seat right over there?" I'm like, "Oh shit." Chris Hansen is here, is he? Okay, he wasn't. So I sit in the chair, and Emily's like, "Hey, click this link. You're auditioning for the Princess Bride play." And so I did a very drunk, as best as I could, Inigo, and I was terrible. And so they were like, "Okay, never mind, do Wesley." And I did a very drunk, as best as I could, Wesley, and they loved it. So fast forward a year from then, with a lot of people that had quit and a lot of recastings because they didn't quite understand the commitment. Uh, we had done, well, a live play, and our first play was for the development team of Rec Room. Uh, from what I was told, the entire dev team at the time, except for 3 people, was there, and they loved it. And we did multiple other shows for the community overall, and it was fun.
So, and they designed all the props and like costumes and made sure you guys had everything you needed to do the
No,
play.
we did that ourselves.
Oh, dope.
They
Yeah.
provided us with the tools, and so I mentioned way back before how there's a lot of custom runs that people can do. Their focus when we started doing the project, the Princess Bride play project, they had just started focusing on custom room stuff. So to give perspective for the listeners, if there's any still here. um, no, of course I know everyone's still listening because it's me. Come on, right? Uh,
If I have a
we
platform to give to my friends, I'm gonna figure out a way to give it to them. Don't worry.
we went from about 23, 24 cast and crew to 12. And that changed everything because like when we started, we couldn't change our costumes. without leaving the room. So we had to have one person for every single role, and then they gave us costumes or outfits, and we could change it on the fly. So someone could go backstage, change a different costume, come out, and they're a different actor. That changed everything. The sets, initially we had, what was it? I think 12 rooms that we had to funnel the whole audience through. And we cut that down to 4 rooms because of the tools they gave us. We could literally, the curtain we had went from having no curtain to a curtain that, as you saw, closes. And then we press a button. We have someone behind stage presses a button. The entire set changes in an instant. And then we're ready to go again. And that cut the play down from an unrealistic length of time to about an hour and 40 minutes. And yeah, so I say we worked on it for a year, but it wasn't really so much that we worked on it for a year just to do it. It's that we didn't have the tools to do it, and it took a year for us to get those tools.
Yeah, but it takes time in general to just, if you're doing anything, you got to do it a bunch of times and then you get it down. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Did you?
Yeah, and there's plenty. Sorry, go on.
Did you have any like theater experience before this at all, like actual plays, Christmas pageants?
When I was in, I think, 2nd grade,
Oh, jeez.
I was in a play without a speaking role. I was a guard that stood in front of the king and queen stage. So that's the extent of my theater experience. And turns out, and I didn't find this out until after we had been like doing live plays for a while, a bunch of our what is it, like 5 or 6 of our actors and actresses are like, oh yeah, we have theater experience, blah 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 blah. And why didn't you speak up about this earlier? Yeah, but it went well, which is why they didn't. They're like, you were doing a good job, so we didn't feel the need to speak up. But they're wonderful people.
I thought that the Princess Bride was such a perfect choice of play for you guys because you don't have to do accents for the like. It's not a requisite of the Princess Bride. It's already just like all over the place in general, like, especially the film.
Agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like you as Wesley, and then you'll have like I don't know all the other people in there, but like you'll have like a British accent just kind of pop up out of nowhere.
Stars.
Oh
Star
yeah,
Centurion?
yeah. I got him. And he tried to ghost it too. He tried to act like it wasn't him. I'm like, fuck you, man. I know who you are. Like, you're the only person I know who would be like just use a voice changer on purpose because you don't want anyone to know what your real voice sounds like.
Funny thing, when I was, the early practices, I tried to change my voice, but I suck at it. And so Emily was like, hey, Pigeon, just use your voice. You're fine. That's the voice that got you the audition. Just use your own voice. I'm like, okay. So there went the pressure. And the whole production is very much, it's meant to be like a high school play, if you will, like theater or community theater.
Yeah,
Like, you remember the Goblin of Unusual Size, the big barrel goblin thing that came out? It was like we intentionally made that costume look like it was something that some high school kids took a big trash can and painted it and then put it over someone's head. And we had so much fun doing that.
One of the best parts in the play, like just that made me actually fall over laughing, was the cliff scene, the cliffhanging scene where like
Yes.
the guy's like, could you spawn a rope or like
Yeah.
it's just so like, man, you could not have picked
like,
a more perfect first play.
Whereas like that was me trying to climb up the well, in the movie it's the cliffs of insanity, and in the play it was the chairs of insanity, and that's a Rec Room reference because there was an old bug where, I don't know if you remember me holding up a chair underneath a hand and like the chair would fall down. It used to be if you held up a chair and held up your hand and the chair rested on the hand without moving and you let go, it would stay there frozen in midair. So people would use that bug to get like, I don't know, 800 feet in the air. So when we were actually, like when the script was written, that bug was active. So we're getting close to doing live plays and they fixed the bug. And we're like, oh shit. What the fuck do we do now? Fix the bug. We can't do the scene anymore. Like I can't, like Wesley can't climb the chairs by using the chair glitch. So I had to kind of fake it, and then we had to come up with the other dialogue about, you know, perhaps you could enable flying or, you know, throw me a maker pen, which is, you know, or find something useful to do instead of the throw the rope. And the maker pen basically is the tool that we use to create all the sets. So he eventually, of course, throws me a maker pen, and I create a platform and then climb up with that. A little bit of a Rec Room take on that scene, but it went through a few different iterations. Like flying didn't exist when we wrote the script either. But them fixing that chair glitch was a terrifying moment.
So
we had enough time to adjust.
What are the plans going forward? Like, are you guys gonna try? Is it always gonna be kind of just community theater for you, or do you think that you could try to like, I don't want to say like big budget, whatever, but like really clean it up and then try to like present it in a way that is palatable to a viewer who's not in Rec Room, or is it just you have to be in Rec Room to experience this special moment kind of thing?
We love doing it for fun.
Yeah.
And we love doing it for the Rec Room community. We're not professional actors.
No.
We know that. And we're not going to try to be. So actually trying to monetize something like that, I don't see that working out well. We're just going to continue to have fun with it. We're going to do more Rec Room plays. We want to just, I mean, the community has given all of us so much. We want to give back to it, and we have a lot of fun doing these shows for them. And going forward, we are going to do another production. It's going to be in the same, we call ourselves the Orange Bucket Acting Troupe. An orange bucket is kind of a Rec Room meme, if you will, I guess. There's a bunch of orange buckets around the game.
Yeah.
And so we call ourselves the Orange Bucket Acting Troupe, or OBAT. And we're going to do another play production in OBAT style. Working on it right now. It's going to be based on Back to the Future.
So I want to go on like a really short tangent about Back to the Future. Just
Okay.
a reason, another situation where I already see how you guys are gonna do all kind of crazy, awesome inside jokes for it, like you did for the last one. But
Yep.
so there used to be this pro wrestler in a group called Cthalha, and his name was what was his name? It doesn't matter. Point being, his gimmick was he's a time traveling marching band conductor. Hear me out. This is the most wacky thing. Okay, so they have this event, and
I'm drinking this beer for you, by the way.
okay, they have this wrestling event, and he's like fighting, and then this guy decides to whirl. This is all real life, like in front of people, actual pro wrestling shit going on. He like sends him, through a space-time continuum portal, and like, okay, he's gone, and we don't see him for months. And then at their big event with like their WrestleMania equivalent type thing later, like months down the road, the dude shows up, he like pulls into the arena with a DeLorean. And then runs into the ring and beats down everybody. So I can't even imagine what you guys are going to come up with for this play.
I would love to respond, but I don't want to give away.
No, don't give it away. It's just like, yeah,
like not that necessarily the AFPS community cares, but I don't want to spoil anything in case the Rec Room community, gets wind of
What I think is,
things.
I'm going to tie this all up in a bow afterwards, but what I think is really cool about, just in general, like what you're doing with this is that it's probably the future of like online entertainment. Like, people are more and more not wanting to leave their home to do things. We have Amazon delivers everything, and we have the just the ability to just watch Netflix and HBO all day, or if you want to see a brand new, half the time theaters like movies come out, they don't even come out in theaters; they just come out right there for your TV, and and the VR is going to continue to take over more and more. We're probably going to have a Quake. Well, I think there already are like versions of older Quake VRs, but it really have like,
There's
yeah,
there's Doom VR too.
yeah.
It's amazing.
The future of arena shooters may very well lie in VR, but there's going to come a point where I think people are going to look back at the history of virtual reality entertainment, and they're going to point at someone's going to have to bring this up. They're going to have to say like, "Oh, well, there was this game back in, back in 100 years ago and before we all uploaded ourselves to the computer, then we all uploaded our consciousness to the
Wow.
to the
Now we
internet."
both feel old.
Yeah. And, yeah, and they're and they did this thing in Rec Room. Like, so it feels, I'm sure to you, I mean, it feels big, but like maybe to a listener, they're like, oh, okay, this is kind of a silly gimmicky thing, but I really do think you guys are onto something that's gonna potentially change the way people interact in general.
Yeah, our main thing is we want to have fun.
Yeah,
We do it for each other more than
that,
anything
that's the
in the
right
community.
attitude.
And like the recognition we got was great. Our last play we did a week ago. Well, almost a week ago. This past Friday, so 5 days ago. We had a YouTube streamer, a YouTuber stream it, and he did a great job with the camera angle. And there's in-game camera angles you can do and stuff. He was fantastic with it. I'm gonna have to get you his YouTube link so you can
Okay, I'll link
put it
it.
in the. He deserves it. He
I
he
need to
did
see
well
that
by
one
us.
because all I've seen is the original, like, you know,
Yeah, and we
crowd point of
redid
view.
the sets. We did redid the sets and stuff.
Mhm.
Now that one that he recorded, there was a lot of technical difficulties that were out of our control. Computers crash, kind of thing.
Mhm.
Um, so bear with it. But there was over 3,000 views on it, so a few people are watching.
More people have watched your virtual reality play than have ever listened to this podcast.
That'll change quickly.
Well, we'll
This
see.
this is a great podcast. You're doing great with it.
Thank you, man. I guess the big takeaway I want to do before we get out of here is, and this is like a question that's been like boiling in my mind for a long time because it took you away from me, this whole thing.
Yeah,
But it's okay with me. I'm perfectly happy to let you do what you need to do.
you sound jealous.
I am jealous. It really hurts my heart that you're not, fragging with me every day. But it's okay.
Right.
But what I want to ask you really is that what is it that is this the VR and the rec room and the play thing? Are you getting something socially that you cannot get in arena shooters? And if so, what can our community learn from your community?
Absolutely, because my whole life I've been an introvert until VR, and it wasn't a like, hey, I have VR, put it on. Wow, I'm an extrovert now. It was a slow change. I've had it for, I mean, I was an early adopter on the HTC Vive, so I've
Mhm.
had it for oof, quick math, I don't know, close to 3 years. Um, I don't know. It's there's something psychological about hanging out with people and having fun and whatever. And but if you're not having fun, you just take off your headset and you know you're okay. Like you're in your home. Uh, the AFPS community, as far as what they can do, don't I know you're talking about how like VR is like probably the future of AFPS. It's not because
No, 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 no.
VR is not.
Don't take. I don't think that's
Okay.
true. I think mouse and
Okay.
keyboard and screen is going to be the
Yeah.
status quo
Yeah.
for
You can,
AFPS.
you can't replace mouse and keyboard.
No,
You just can't.
no.
That's
I'm saying that like I
no.
think that there will be like the future
There's
of
a place
gaming
for
lies
VR.
in it. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, there is for certain types of games. Like, I mean, well, I'm gonna have to show you a game called Sirento sometime.
Okay.
But that's off topic. Um, the best thing that the community can do is just be excellent to each other. Really, like you were to me. I mean, regardless of VR, like VR didn't have like it didn't have any bearing on when we met. Like you were an excellent guy to me when we met in a duel, and you kicked my ass, but you're still really good about it. And you're like, hey, you want to practice more?
Yeah.
Like, and just not being, don't be a dick is what the community can like. Just don't be a dick to each other. Be excellent to each other. That's all it is. That's nothing to do with VR. Just and like so many we want to grow the community, but it's so hard to get into because noobs come in and they suck because they don't know AFPS or they're not used to it or whatever, and they just get shat on. And yeah, I get it. A lot of people, I mean, we were all there. I mean, I got shat on all over the place when I first started playing multiplayer Quake 2. But I stuck through it. But how many people didn't?
Yeah.
How many people are out there playing Call of Duty now at a Quake because like someone wasn't excellent to them
Yeah, it makes me wonder
when they were
because I say it all the time that in order to be successful at arena shooters, you first have to be the kind of person who can take an ass kicking and then come back for more.
and that's true.
But at the same time, to your point, that you have to also consider the fact that like if more people were just nice to begin with,
Yeah, I mean, I'm
yeah,
not advocating for the AFPS community to be cupcakes and Care Bears, like Care Bear
no,
stare everyone.
no,
Like,
but
like you got to be able to take take some shit talk, right? But
there's a difference between just being able to just take a rocket to the face and accept that you lost, but you don't also have to have the shit like friendly shit talk, friendly banter is one thing,
right,
but you don't have to have
right,
the fuck you noob or
right. You
yeah,
don't have to have
you don't have to have that. That's not necessary.
racial slurs, shit like that.
Oh
Yeah.
man, remember that night when the dude called us the N word on the server? Oh my god, I was like, Jesus. I mean, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry to that guy. Genuinely, I hope he's okay. But like, you messed with the keep, and me and Pigeons molested you.
Yeah. There's the M word. Well, you didn't say the R word, so. Uh,
But no,
yeah.
that's I think that's the mission, and that's the trend. The trend now. I don't want to give it all to say it was like it started with the keep because it didn't, but our mission and has always been I don't want to say a safe space, but like a place
No,
where
don't you dare
yeah, I don't,
ever say that
no, but
word.
a mission. The mission was
I,
to create a place where people could play pickups and learn from each other and not have to worry
right,
about like an asshole being an asshole. And if you are an asshole to someone in our server, you'll probably get banned.
right.
Haven't had to
Yeah.
do that yet. I think we just have attracted good people mostly, but
I am very impressed, I want to say, on air. I am very impressed with how quickly and strongly you've grown to keep. You've done great.
it's I don't know. It's like my passion project. I'm like a weird obsessed person. If I get into something or if I like decide I want to do something, I commit myself like 100% to doing that. And sometimes that results in my hand being in too many pots, and like I get overwhelmed. Like I was trying to do the podcast and write for QuakeFans.net and do this
Right.
and have a real I'm like I have a real job and a wife and all that kind of stuff, and it was just like oh so
Don't
overwhelming.
stress yourself too. And a
No,
boyfriend that I could beat up.
yeah, probably.
Yeah.
I I but I had to like kind of narrow down what I'm doing. So now my focus is just the podcast and the keep, and that's what I do. Like the casting thing happens on its own. Like that's fine, but I'm just genuinely involved in this community. Like this means that I've never had a group of people that I cared so much about in real life, other than like my two best friends in the world and my wife. You know, these are my friends. And it's weird, and that it's people are gonna like. Some people would look at that and be like, "Man, what a fucking loser!" But like, really, this whole thing, this is like a phenomenon to me.
No one that matters is gonna look at you
Yeah,
for having a passion about something and think you're a loser,
that's true.
right?
And if they are, they're
Just
a dickwad.
there, no one that matters is gonna think that.
I really appreciate you doing this, man. Like
This was a
I,
lot of fun. I really appreciate the invite
I
today.
know. I just had to make an excuse to get you to talk to me for an hour or so because you're too
Oh
busy
shit,
with
you
your other
gotta.
friends.
Oh well, I mean they have VR. Cough, cough.
Yeah, that's true.
No, that sounded mean.
No,
No,
it's just
I
it's
do
not
need
my
to get
thing.
back there.
It's okay, and maybe one day I'll get one and I'll just like fall completely in love with that
It's not your
community.
thing because you haven't tried it.
I I don't know if that's true. I I'll give you the benefit of the doubt, but I really don't feel like it's necessarily where I'm at this point in my life. Maybe one day that could be a different version of the Motherload.
That's fair.
Yeah,
That's fair. That's a very wise answer.
yeah.
Okay, or response. Yeah, that's a wise response.
All right, man. Much love. I'm
All
gonna get out of here and go eat some food because I'm starving.
right. All right. Love you, man. Have a great night.
Peace out, brother. Take care. All right, hope you guys enjoyed that conversation as much as I enjoyed having it. Big thanks to IKP for doing it. I really hope you guys felt the love between us because it was very prominent. I don't apologize for it. Let's get into some plugs. So yeah, first of all, we're switching to the new host after this episode. This will be our last one with State of Quake, and I just want to give a big fat thank you to Slip and Unkind both for carrying us this far. And now they're releasing us on our own. We're like a baby eagle being pushed out of the nest. It's gonna be epic. Hope you guys find us pretty quickly. Best way to do that, obviously, is to hit us up in the Keep. Links are at the bottom. All the links are at the bottom. Let's see. Another thank you to Spaced. If you guys don't already know this, it should be in the episode notes. But if you're not reading them, I just want to say a huge ass thank you to Spaced. Everything about the Keep is a personal effort on his part and mine together. He's like, he's been there since day one, as well as IKP, pushing this thing forward. All the artwork, a lot of the channel setup, everything, that's all up to him. Also, a big thank you to Haducant, who has been not only helping with the Duskworld tournaments. It's kind of funny. I'm recording this before the tournament, but by the time you hear this, the tournament will have happened. And I want to say thank you to him for co-casting and for helping set up the OBS stuff to make the stream look as beautiful as we could possibly manage at our current scale. Another big thank you to the Open Arena competitive community for the events that they've been putting on. I've been casting. You can check those out on YouTube. But the duel tournaments are kicking ass. And thank you to Meow, to Dots, to Tiny, to Infinite, to all the people involved in those events. It's been absolutely fantastic. Next, big thank you to New Blood Interactive for making Dusk and allowing us to, they provided space with some cool fonts for us to make those overlays with, and just being cool in general, and Brondo and Ceaspool and all that good stuff. Previous guest already said Ceaspool, but everybody who's been on the show up to now took a huge risk in allowing us to, take up some of their time to get this thing rolling. And I just want to say thank you to them each personally, but I won't list them all off here. Just go check out those episodes. Join the Keep. Our Duskworld tournaments are kicking off. We have dual pools, I believe, every Wednesday night, hosted by Smango, and I'll jump in when I can, get those things rolling. But if you like to improve and just have a sense of community, get some feedback, meet some new people, dual pools are where it's at. It's the oldest tradition in the Keep, and we plan to keep it alive. Also, you just find pickup games pretty much any time for a plethora of different arena shooter games or co-op games, whatever you want to do. It doesn't matter. We're free and open to everyone. And the best way to get info, obviously, I already said it. Join the Keep. That's the best way to do it. You'll get all the info you need if you wanna keep up with the podcasts as they come out, or give feedback, or hit me up, whatever you want to do. Feel free, please, to join the Keep. But remember that if you're an asshole, Cthalha doesn't like assholes. Sorry, had to say it. Other ways to support. Patreon, the link is at the bottom of the page here. You may freely give money if you wish. You would be greatly appreciated if you did that. That would allow the cost of production to, sort of be crowdsourced. Better equipment, better microphone if you don't like the way my voice is coming across. Helps me in space. We're going to be hopefully setting up server upkeep and all that kind of stuff. Prize pools for events. Make it a little more worth space time to do the Twitch overlays and Haducant as well, and everyone else involved. All the artwork. If you want to support, if you want to continue to see the production stay the same as it is and also rise, feel free to give on Patreon. If you can't afford to, or you just don't want to give money, or you don't want to take that risk or whatever, I totally understand. I can't promise or say in any kind of honesty that I give to every podcast that I listen to. I try, but I don't. So truly the best way to support is just to be involved in the community and tell people, listen to the catalog, like, subscribe, review, tell your friends. That's the best way you can support 100%. The more, the merrier on this ride. What else we got? Other podcasts. There are way more similar podcasts than you may think if you haven't already heard them. List them off. Full Tech podcast ran by Smango. He's associated and runs QuakeFans.net and KentuckyNerd.com, as well as the Full Tech podcast, which is all about PC gaming, retro games, arena shooter games, whatever. He's my boy. I love him. Check him out. Next would be QuakeCast. This is RC and Dump Truck from the Quake mapping community, and I can't even say it, man. These guys are blowing me out of the water, I feel like, sometimes, with some of these cool guests I've got on. Like, developer from Proteus was on recently, as well as Nationwide Moose. I really enjoyed that episode. Definitely go check it out. State of Quake podcast, always going to be there, and make sure you check out all their events with the cash prizes and everything. I won't list them all off. Just hop in their Discord, check them out. And then we got Multiplayer Doom Federation Radio Network YouTube, and also join their Discord. Check out all their cool Doom events. Like, if you're into multiplayer Doom, there's no better place that I know of for you to get into the action. Other events, obviously QuakeCon 2019, July 25th through 29th. I'll be there. A lot of members of the Cthalha's Keep crew will be there. The Keep, as we're calling it now, because people can't spell Cthalha. That's okay. I want to say State of Quake will be there too. Slip, Unkind, D-Ron, a few other folks. Definitely hit them up if you see them there too. I'm really looking forward to meeting D-Ron. That'll be fun. Quake World QH LAN 2019 is going to happen. I don't have all the full information yet, but I will promise to get you that as soon as I can. Looking forward to a little bit more information from those guys. But looking like it's going to take place in Denmark, and it'll be towards the end of the summer, like September, August area. We'll get you that information as soon as I can. Big one. United States Quake community, the U.S. Quake community. That's ran by Messiah and Nationwide Moose and several other people that I haven't had the time to really dig into yet. But I really like what they're doing over there. If you haven't heard about them already, it's just like every Quake game there is, they have an event for it pretty much. Doom as well. Anything id Software made. And just an awesome community with, like, all the time, every night it seems like awesome events happening. Just community stuff. Not super competitive, but I think they have plans to maybe do that in the future, so check them out. Master Arena, still an alpha. It's still awesome. You should try to get a alpha key if you can't get one from them, which you definitely should be able to. Hit me up and I'll try to hook you up with one if I can. And they're doing a lot of cool Instagib tournaments that I would check out, especially if you're in the EU, a higher player base over there. So give them a shout out, give them a check, see what they're up to. Quake Crew, SAC Sundays, every Sunday, Quake Crew, and then I believe Quake Team Fortress and perhaps the USQC are getting involved in it now. But if you like playing Sacrifice and Quake Champions, there's no better place to do it than on Sundays in the Quake Crew and with those guys. Definitely hit up Killer Nukem if you want more information on that. If you are a Quake Champions player and you want to break into the I don't want to say pro scene, but if you want to get recognized, if you really want to get your name out there, you got to win 40's Den. 40 Lions, bracket-style tournaments. Friday nights, look out for 40's Den. Go check them out. Lastly, Jahar, Tasty Spleen. I shouldn't have to explain it to you. If you don't already know about Jahar and Tasty Spleen and you're listening to the show, I don't know what you're doing. Get over there and check them out. Last thing on the docket for me, if you like great beer or if you know someone who makes great beer and you want to send some my way, man, it would really be awesome if I could like drink some, talk about how awesome it is on the podcast, and drink some free beer. But that's neither here nor there. Peace out, everybody. Much love. Stay in the keep.